Welcome, everyone, and good evening to the second game of this doubleheader and the final game of the first half of the first semester. The Sheridan Bruins, after so long, return home for the first time in 3 weeks. Cajun Thiru Danny Castlum alongside me, Ryan Canes, and Ryan. After 3 weeks on the road, boy, it must feel good to be at home.
Absolutely. They are looking for their first win on home turf. They come to this game 1-7, hungry for that first win in Oakville. And the St. Clair Saints come to this one 3-4, hungry to even up that at an even 500. And that is the perfect way to get started there as they get the point now 1-0.
That was Kowalski setting up walls for the kill right there. Zach Walls, a 6'4" middle out of Amherstburg, Ontario, and that one by Kowalski, to the delight of the Sheridan bench, was sent way down the QEW. As now set to serve is Vito Forte. And he sends it wayward, so back-to-back service errors to start things off.
Forte got an absolute missile of a serve, and that one is just a little bit too hard, and that one sails just out of bounds to the left.
And now floated over by Cale Wilkinson. And a kill there for Jason Tran. As now set to serve is Daniel Sass. No libero on the floor for the Bruins as Sass airmails it. And will get rotated out for Govin Kennedy. Govin Kennedy, excuse me. As now Walls serves. Tran gets a hold of it. Murray sets up. Reimer. Tran off of the block, off the net, and out of play. Jason Tran again.
Jason Tran got a big frame. He comes in at 6'4", and he's putting that frame to use with a good net presence early on in this one.
Reimer hits the net, and what has kind of been a worrying trend from both teams right now, that service game has not been the greatest. Babineau gets it over. Tran. And denied. Arthur Richard tried to go up top for the massive kill, but the Great Wall of Oakville said, no, 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 not today, not here at the Bear Cave. As Tran gets it over. Kowalski. And this time Richard gets it through the block.
Yeah, a great defensive play there by the Saints. If you guys are just tuning in, a great overall match by the women's team from St. Clair. They beat the Sheridan Bruins in 3 straight sets, and this good defensive play is transferring over.
And that's served by Richard. Just long. Looked like that was Wilkinson with the kill, and Tran got handcuffed. As Sertosi gets it over. Moray sets up. Moray. That's Reimer. Oh, sorry. Forte, and he got stone cold, or should I say walled at the net by Zach Walls.
Absolutely, that was a really good defensive play there by the St. Clair Saints.
Tosi hits the net. The fifth-year middle at a Bell River, Ontario, as he rotates out for Charlie Ow. And Babineau airmailed it over the block and out of play, and we're all tied up at 7 again. And now Moray. The second-year setter out of Milton District. Gets it over. A good serve at that, but Walls. Trent Reimer got blocked by Walls again. Wilkinson was in the mix as well. As now set to serve is Kwiatkowski. Moray. And Reimer gets it through the block and it goes out. And both teams exchanging points to start things off. As sending the serve is Zach Ludwig for Sheridan. Kennedy receiving the serve. Great job there by Babineau just to get it in play for a free ball. Unfortunately, Kwiatkowski was no match for Colin Reimer.
Yeah, that was just a little too hot to handle there. And now the Bruins take a 9-8 lead.
Forte. That serve is so far his forte. And Wilkinson could not find the line. So Sheridan now up by 2. Forte, this has been some sort of service run, and it ended right there, but not before. It looked like it was gonna go surely out, and then the bottom dropped and it almost fell in. Meanwhile, St. Clair kind of struggling with the serve to start off. St. Clair 3-4 on the season. And again, another serve that's just long. This one from Daniel Sass, who gets rotated out for Kennedy. And now Wall set to serve. 11-10 for Sheridan. Going back and forth here in Oakville. This one's over. Moray. Tran off the block, and it was out, so another kill for Jason Tran. Now Reimer set to serve. Wilkinson up to the task. Babineau denied! Set one, only needed one for Jason Tran, who said no, 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 no. Reimer gets it over. And Richard got that through. Ludwig had a reception on it. Nobody else did after that. Babineau, the southpaw. Tran. Reimer. And this defense of St. Clair kind of has some soft spots right now. Tran. Babineau. And Richard took advantage of the Sheridan defense that was coming to the front and lobbed it over to the back corner.
Yeah, that was just a really nice cross-court spike there by the St. Clair Saints to get this within 2 points.
And now Richard set to serve, the Woodstock native. And Moray, what a play there just to get it in play. And Kowalski said, anything you could do, I could do better, as his 2 hit actually found a hole in the Bruins defense. Heady play there from the setter. What wasn't so heady was that serve. It's 15-13, Sheridan. And now Colin fielding. They are targeting Wilkinson. Forte! Off the block and away from St. Clair. Sheridan up by 3. Again, no libero for Sheridan. It was kind of back and forth, but Sheridan slowly kind of pulling away here. Al got a hold of it. Wilkinson through the block. Moray. Forte off the block. Kwiatkowski, Babineau. What a play there by Tran. Forte. Oh, great play there just to keep that alive. Off the block and over. What great defense from both sides. Ow. Who's he sending up? Babineau. Tran. Forte. Blocked. And Moray hit the ceiling. Sertosi. Tran up to the task. And what a setup there from Moray to Sass.
Just a really nice play by both the Saints and the Bruins.
Moray hits the net. And the term nothing but net can be positively used in basketball.
Absolutely.
Not the case for volleyball. And all of a sudden, St. Clair back in it. It was a 3-point lead not too long ago, 17-14 for Sheridan. It's now 17-16 as Kwiatkowski. That was a missile of a serve, but it was just out. Forte, right at Wilkinson. Oh my goodness! Kwiatkowski to Walls, who levitated in the air. And the minute the ball touched his hands, Sheridan's defense had no chance.
No, that was too powerful serve there. Kwiatkowski and Sheridan just couldn't handle it.
And Sahil Bardwaj serving. For Wilkinson. But it didn't matter. Sheridan with the kill. As filling in for serving purposes, Sass out. And the veteran Connor Thompson in. And the score's out. Not sure if it was a power. I'm not. Okay, we got the score back up. We're good. It's 19-17 for Sheridan. As Thompson, after that brief delay, serves. Kwiatkowski, and that's a two-hit by Kwiatkowski. And the frustration on Satozi's face says it all as timeout called by St. Clair head coach Sean Riomi.
Yeah, I think that's a very well-timed timeout for this St. Clair Saints team. They got off to a pretty good start, I would say, but they've now fell behind 20-17.
Well, see, the thing with the difference between St. Clair and Sheridan as of right now has been the service game. Because whenever St. Clair does go to their middles, especially Zach Walls, it's been good. But it hasn't happened as often as as maybe St. Clair would like. Meanwhile, Tran has had his moments. Reimer as well. As I just saw something on to the left of me, but I'm not going to put him on blast, no. As Thompson continues to serve, St. Clair hoping the timeout ices the serve, as Sheridan is up 20-17. It does not. Al gets a hold of it. Richard in play.
And that was a powerful spike to say the least.
Somebody in the St. Clair crowd just said thank you in exasperation or in relief. Not sure which one, but it was more so finally. Walls. Moray. Tran. Can't get it over. And after the timeout, St. Clair now with 2 straight points. They're knocking on the door here at 2019 for Sheridan. Moray. And what a play there by Forte down Broadway, off the block and out. Ludwig sending the serve here. Again, Kennedy receiving the serve. And Reimer hits the net in a set that is going back and forth and it's kind of being decided by 1 or 2 points. Service errors are the last thing you need. As now coming in is Sean Kennedy. I want to say for Kwiatkowski. And in play. Forte let it go, and timeout called by head coach Liam Butcherite.
That's a very wise timeout called by the Sheridan Bruins. They were off to a very good start, but now they kind of trailed off a little bit. Now it's a 21-21 game here late in the first set.
I could kind of see why 14 was a little bit confused because that serve kind of looked like it went through the net at first glance. But it did skim the net, and you just can't let it. You just can't let it go when it was obvious it was in play. It was in. And Sheridan, after being in the lead for much of this set, find themselves tied. Kennedy. Moray to Reimer. Off the block and out again. Cohen Reimer averaging 2.8 points per set. He's already off to a great start here. Tran gets it over. Wilkinson. Kennedy. Richard off the block. Richard off the block again. Tran to Forte. Moray. Can Forte do it again? He can! He does! Vito Forte! And Sheridan with a much-needed point to get some separation. Final timeout called by St. Clair.
Sheridan Bruins just really run away with this one late in this first set, and a very well timed timeout for the St. Clair Saints.
The Sheridan attack has found a lot of success hitting off the block and out. As now to serve Jason Tran. The North York native. What a serve there from Tran. What a two-hit by Tyson Moray. Looky here, looky there. And for the Saints defense, it's looky at the floor. With the ball at their end. Set point now for Sheridan. And just out. But St. Clair has to be perfect the rest of this way to get back into this. And that does not happen. Richard Long. And I need to see this here. That's a big first set win, Ryan, for the Sheridan team.
Absolutely. This Sheridan team probably played their best set of the season. They're not letting St. Clair get any chances whatsoever. They're limiting net opportunities with their great net presence. And it's just been an overall a two-way game for the Sheridan Bruins, and it's been great on both sides.
Absolutely. Maybe not as many aces, but the service game really caught St. Clair off guard, and their attack was great. And on the flip side for St. Clair, their service game punctuated by that service error by Richard kind of was their undoing. We'll be back in a couple of minutes for the second set here on OCAA action. And welcome back. Second set action at the Bear Cave, the Sheridan Athletic Center here in Oakville, and were the Bears ready to hunt there, Ryan, in that first set, especially on the attack.
Absolutely.
And
They
as well
played
on the
a great
block.
Game.
Kowalski set to serve. Moray gracefully gliding in the air. Cohen Reimer starts the second set off with a kill. As Tyson Moray gets the serve off. Targeting Wilkinson. Wilkinson! Oh my. Cale Wilkinson, we've seen this over the years. We've seen kills like this over the years from him. And misplayed, but somehow got over. Moray, another opportunity for Reimer off the block and out. And again, they've had success using the St. Clair block to their advantage. Forte. Babineau. And you got to credit Moray for the great hustle there. There might be, you might need a cleanup crew over there, but. Walls. Gets it over. Moray. Down to Moray. Tran. Tipped away by Kwiatkowski. Wilkinson was going to get there, but the tip from Kwiatkowski made it sail out of play. 3-2 Sheridan. Richard off the block. Forte. Tran! I kind of want to say what Vito Forte's forte is. But tonight he's doing it all.
He really is. He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife tonight. He's got a great net presence and a great serve. And looks to continue it.
And Fielding hits the net as he rotates out for Kennedy. And now Babineau set to serve. And a missile right at Kennedy, who got a reception on him. Murray got the second reception, but that ball was so low, it would have gone down into the ground at that point. And oh my, oh no. Somebody in the crowd said free ball, and that kind of summed up that point. Babineau through the block and out. Tied up at 5. Richard in play. Nothing you can really do about that serve when it's just so perfectly placed with such power. And after a serve like that, the net says you're mine now. Tran. Gets it through. Kwiatkowski. Wilkinson. Through Ludwig and out.
A great effort there by Jason Tran, but this one was all the way in the stands. He had no chance for that one.
And now it's St. Clair up 7-6. Forte blocked by the combination of Walls and Kwiatkowski. Tosi gets it over. Murray. Forte this time through the block and into the net. Oh my goodness. Cale Wilkinson. Is a machine. And Kwiatkowski to serve. And free balled over at the end by Reimer. Kwiatkowski, Wilkinson. Tran free balls it over. Richard. Wilkinson through the block. Murray. Reimer. Somehow Wilkinson got that over, but it didn't matter. Forte again. And Moray hits the net. And St. Clair back up by 2 as Wilkinson who has awoken gets his serve over and handcuffs Tran, and that's an ace for Cale Wilkinson. And a reach over there by Moray, and no timeout yet from Sheridan, but this set deficit is slowly growing for Sheridan. But it doesn't grow any more than that as Wilkinson's serve hits the net.
Yeah, it was an overall great serve. He's been serving great balls all game, but that one just didn't have enough to get over the net.
And now set to serve Forte. And that was airmailed. Not as much as some of the serves I've seen here over the years, but it was airmailed a bit. Walls, oh my goodness. Wilkinson, Richard, denied! Reimer stuffs Richard at the net and says no! Fielding to serve. Gets it over, Wilkinson gets there. Babineau! Right at the feet of Ludwig. And another reach over by Moray. And now Liam Boucherette can do his chuckle, because he thought there was a reach over on St. Clair. Moray, Tran. Al was onto that. Richard. What a play there by Forte. Richard. Denied again. Fielding and Reimer mixing on that block. But St. Clair still up by 4 here in the second set. Reimer. Free balled over. Moray. Reimer out of play off the block. And Ryan, it seems like Sheridan has had a lot of success attacking off of the block and out. And Certosi went up, attacked, but the ball didn't oblige. Timeout, St. Clair.
Keishan, you mentioned Coach Liam Boucherette might want to take a timeout, but it's a total turn of events here, and now it's the St. Clair Saints taking a timeout because the Bruins just battle them their way back in this one very quickly.
And over at the Sheridan huddle, Liam Butcherite. We're not sure what he's saying, but he's fired up. And in a set when St. Clair looked like they were going to pull away up 15-10, Sheridan responds with 3 of their own and forces a timeout on St. Clair's end. Kind of a smart part on their end. Reimer gets it over. Denied there by Moray. And what a heads-up play there by Kwiatkowski to force a net violation on Sheridan. A cheeky play there. As Richard. What a beautiful setup there by Moray to the waiting hand of Fielding, who made absolutely no mistake on that one. Tran. Handcuffs out, and that's an ace for Jason Tran. Tran. Too close to the net. Kwiatkowski gets it over. Moray. Forte. Blocked at the net. Tertosi trying up to the task. Forte over Kwiatkowski and Walls, and Babineau could not get there in time. Fielding right at Wilkinson. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, indeed. Did I hear somebody just scream out OG?
I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Oh, my goodness. And out of play. Out of play there by Wilkinson. So a break there by Sheridan. It was too close to the net. Wilkinson right up there, but he hit it out. Moray right at Richard. Wilkinson again, off the basketball net. All of a sudden, Wilkinson, who started off this second set hot, is fuming right now. And with a little bit of help from the net, he gets himself an ace. And if that's, is that westbound? Is that going westbound?
It was a westbound there.
Yeah, that's going westbound, long westbound on the QEW. It's going on the 401 QEW, wherever, and it's down at the feet of Wilkinson. Forte giving Wilkinson a taste of his own medicine. Forte gets it over, up to the task. Walls, oh no. I mean, not as much power, but the way Walls got up there.
And Keith, I don't know if you noticed this trend, but as soon as the Bruins come within 1 point of tying it up, St. Clair always gets a point.
And they always go to Wilkinson or Walls. That's a heck of a serve there by Walls. Babineau. Moray got a hand on it, but nothing much of it. And a timeout called by head coach Liam Butcherite. And he's saying something to Moray and Reimer there as on the way out, on the way into the huddle. They have fought back throughout. Down 5. Had it down to 1, but they have not tied it. And like you said, Ryan, they've always come up with a big point or 2 in a row to kind of pull away a bit. And that's what they've done right now.
And we'll see if the Sheridan Bruins can knot this one up at 22. They are now 3 points down.
Moray. Tran. Moray. Tran again. Through the block. And a substitution here. Fielding in. Sorry, fielding out, Thompson in. And this seemed to work late in the first set. Can Thompson work his magic? Work his magic again. Thompson gets it over. Oh my goodness, no block, no problem for Arthur Richard. And now Thompson will go out for Fielding, who will rotate out for Kennedy as Babineau set to serve. Kennedy up to the task, Moray. And Reimer off again, off the block and out. St. Clair's blockers, for the most part, have not been up to task with the Bruins attack. Richard. Richard again. Off the block and out. Made something out of nothing there, and set point now for the Saints. And with a chance to probably with a chance to end this second set in style. And does! Arthur Richard ended the first set on a service error. Second set, he ends it with an ace. St. Clair bounces right back and takes that second set. We're all evened up at 1. We'll be back in a little over 2 minutes for the third set between the Sheridan Bruins and the St. Clair Saints. You're listening and watching OCAA men's volleyball action. Welcome back to the Sheridan Athletic Center. Cajun Thew, Denny Castleman alongside Ryan Canes. And Ryan, we've had 2 great sets thus far.
Absolutely. It was a great play by both teams, and the first 2 sets have been fairly close. Both teams in the 20s, 25-21 was the last set score, and 25-23 in the first set, so it's very evenly matched.
Moray. They're targeting Wilkinson. Babineau. Forte. And down. Off the top of the net. Wilkinson and Kowalski were looking at where did it go, and then it landed right behind them. Good serve there by Moray, and Walls got up there, up and over the Bruins defense, and when the 6'4" Walls is towering like that, it's night-night. Moray. Reimer somehow got that through. And Babineau got it through the block and out. Kwiatkowski gets it over. There must have been 3 touches. Because it's turned into a point for Sheridan. Forte gets it over. Too close to the net! And Fielding says thank you very much. Sorry, Daniel Sass. Forte. Oh. Oh my. I heard some. Did I hear it right? Did I hear somebody say he jumped so high? And Trent says, I got some hops on my own. Watch this. 4-3 for Sheridan. Again, back and forth to start off a set again. Walls. And wait a second. Did they call it? Okay, they did not. Doesn't look like they called a net violation. Sheridan was asking for one. Walls. Sertosi. Richard off the block and out. Moray. Reimer split the difference between Kwiatkowski and Wilkinson. Reimer set to serve. 5 apiece here in the tied at 5 apiece here in this third set. Richard, Kwiatkowski, Babineau down the line. Oh my! He's 6 feet tall. But jumps like he's 6'9". Tran finds the back corner. And stop me if you've heard this before, Ryan. We're tied up again.
We are tied up again. This is what I've said earlier. It's a very back and forth match. No team is allowing the other team to get ahead by too many points, and just ultimately competitive match.
An interesting serve there by Tran. And Kwiatkowski to Satoshi. Butcherite's kind of wondering where was the reach over there. Richard just out. And he can't believe it. Wilkinson through the block. Murray. Tran. Wilkinson tried to be Superman for a second, but it went out of play. And even if it didn't, he hit the antenna, so a violation would have been called either way. Fielding hits the net, and he will be rotated out for Kennedy. Sertosi. Tran. Forte. And a net violation by Walls. St. Clair not happy at that call. Wilkinson denied by Reimer. Reimer just proved that Wilkinson is human. Murray. Walls. It's been hard to stop Walls and Wilkinson on the Saints tonight. Oh my! Walls pointed at his head, but what a setup by Murray to Sass, who hit it off of Wall's head. Too close to the net, and Reimer says thank you very much. St. Clair not phased just yet. Forte. What a play there by Au. Tran. Moray. Reimer. Kwiatkowski up to the task. Moray. Reimer. Cohen Reimer again. And are we getting a timeout? No, we are not. He's letting them play. What a serve there by Forte. Forte free balls it over. What a play there by the Bruins defense. Moray, can they take advantage? They got another opportunity. Tran through the block. And Tran gets the last laugh. And St. Clair needs a timeout.
Yeah, I mean, they had absolutely no momentum right now. Sheridan's hogging all of that. So, a very well-timed timeout for this Saints team.
It's been tit and tat. Who would blink first in this set thus far? And right now, with 4 straight points, it was St. Clair who has blinked first. Now you would have to think they would try to feed Wilkinson and Walls moving forward to try to get back into this. So if you're Sheridan's defense, you gotta be up to the task. Now set to serve. Forte again. Forte, great serve there. Wilkinson adjusted in midair and hit it off the block and out. Now this first serve's gonna be key because he's caught Sheridan off guard on a couple of serves leading to aces. Tran up to the task there. Reimer denied. Walls and Richard mixing up on that one. Wilkinson. Airmails that, and I mean airmailed it.
Yeah, that one went, what would you say, a good 10 feet out of bounds there.
You watch football like that, Ryan?
I do watch football, big
That's
football
like
guy.
Geno Smith out airmailing his receivers.
Exactly.
Off the block. Richard. Opportunity now for Sheridan. Reimer. Through the block and off of ow. Who in his mind said ow? And Sass hit it to the bottom of the net. And as play-by-play Spencer Byers has once said, and as numerous times said, if the serve goes underneath the net, as Walls' serve hits the net, if you serve the ball, it goes under the net, and it lands on the other side. It's a point for Streets as that's an ace for Reimer. (18-12) now for Sheridan. Reimer targeting Al Babineau. Split the difference between Ludwig and Forte. And now Babineau set to serve. He got a kill to stop the run, and now he's got an ace. 2 straight points now for Matt Babineau from Windsor, Ontario. Moray, and he missed fielding. Uncharacteristic there from Moray, who's been so good tonight. Tran blocked. Reimer through the block with an unlikely assist from Tran. Stops the 3-0 run from St. Clair. What a serve there. But Sertosi gets the kill. And now Richard, whose serve can be very dangerous if he gets it in play. This time he works on getting it over. And Forte through the block, and then Kwiatkowski tried to get it up, or maybe it was Sertosi. Either way, it hit the ceiling. 20-16 for Sheridan. Babineau. Heads up play there by Sass. Forte through the block. And they need another timeout. St. Clair has none left after this. And Ryan, it looks to me like hitting percentage-wise, their attack has just looked so much better than it has Sheridan's.
It really has. Sheridan, they've really turned this thing around. I don't just mean this game. I mean, I'm going to say this season. This season, obviously, they've struggled with the record of 1-7. But in this game, knock on wood, they flat out dominated the Saints.
Easily probably the most dominating offensive performance we've seen from Sheridan at home. And it's from different guys. It's from Tran, Reimer. Moray's had a two-hit. Moray went up with a two-hit too. Forte, Sass. Everybody's contributing. Babineau. Forte off the block. Moray. Free ball over by Reimer, who gets back defensively. Sertosi. Reimer couldn't get to it. Sertosi to serve. No libero. And Moray denied by Wilkinson. Sertosi hits the net. And now set to serve, Tyson Moray. And just out. And now Kwiatkowski set to serve. And Babineau gets through the block Timeout called by head coach Liam Butcherite. He had both in his back pocket. He said, might as well use one.
Yeah, they're looking like they're going to blow this lead. I spoke too soon, but they're still up by 2 in this third set. They're hoping they can clinch it and go up 2-1.
And it seems like what was once a 6-point lead has been chipped down to 2. But that's how this game has been. Both teams coming early out of the timeout. It's the veteran setter, the 5th year, Kwiatkowski, or Wyatkowski, excuse me. Gets it over. Reimer through the block. And a much needed point there for Sheridan. And now coming on for Babineau, perhaps for height, is Nolan Comartin. Comartin, opportunity here. Reimer again. Wilkinson. Denied by Trent. And Sass mixing in on Wilkinson. Saying no, 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 no. Not here in the Great Wall of Oakville. And now set point here for Sheridan. Forte. Now up to the task. Walls. Forte got to it. Trent. And a net violation. Bardwaj in. Wilkinson out. Babineau back in and Comartin out. But no margin for error in this set for St. Clair. And he hits the net. Sheridan takes the third set 25-21. And they're one set away from winning their first home game of the season. Obviously, still a ways to go, and every set's been close, but easily their best game of the season.
Easily their best game.
At least
Easily.
at home.
I think you're pretty accurate in saying it's easily their best game of the season. The other games, if you look at it closely, it wasn't even close. So for them to be dominating this good team in the Saints is a true feat, and it's a true testament to how resilient they are throughout this season.
And seeing both the women's and men's team perform well coming back from such a long road trip at home, it really does hit different when you play back at home. And it also kind of shows how good these teams could be, both the men's and women's teams could be when they figure it out, when they try kind of put it all together. We'll be back in about a minute and a half here. Fourth set action coming up next. You're listening to and watching OCAA men's volleyball action. Bruins, Saints. We'll be back in a bit. We'll be back in about a minute and a half. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Sheridan Athletic Center, the self-coined Bear Cave. Cajun Thirutheni Castlem alongside Ryan Keynes. And Ryan, defensively, Sheridan looked much improved in that third set compared to the first two sets, but it's been the offense that has been the showcase throughout this game, as that serve from Wyakowski goes well left. Moray. Richard. Forte. Somehow Wilkinson might have been better off leaving it out, but it didn't matter. He ended up getting the kill at the end of it. Wilkinson hits the net. Forte gets it over. Babineau! Babineau with the kill. Walls gets it over. Moray sets up Reimer. The block came late, and you can't do that to Colin Reimer.
Absolutely not. That was just a great play overall. And it was reflecting on the scoreboard, 3-2 for the Sheridan Bruins.
Sass gets it over. Babineau again. Babineau now with a pair of kills in this set. And what a play there, Moray to Fielding. And this first 7 points has gone Sheridan, St. Clair, Sheridan, St. Clair, Sheridan, St. Clair. And now back to the Bruins. Until right now.
And that ball's not coming down from the rafters. That one is stuck up there.
For life?
Maybe.
No. There's no way that could be stuck for life. But anywho. Reimer. Wilkinson gets a hold of it. Sertozzi, oh my goodness. The precision on that pass from Wyakowski, and then the power from Sertozzi right after. Richard. What a serve there. Moray. Tran. Forte. Tran's going to try this again. And blocked again. Wilkinson, Sertozzi, and Wyakowski mixing in on that one. And we're tied up at 5. And that's an ace for Richard. Now 3 straight points for St. Clair. Now they're up 6-5. And Richard put a hurting on the net. hits the net himself. Seven, 6 for St. Clair. Certosi. With a serve that goes long. Fielding. Right at Ow. Wyakowski. Babineau just has to free ball it over. Opportunity here for Babineau. Gets it over. Moray. Moray again. Forte off the block and out. Walls, oh my. When you get it, when you get it to Walls' sweet spot, it's lights out for the defense. And that's in play. An ace for Wyakowski. And in the seesaw fourth set, St. Clair up 9-8 now. And a net violation by St. Clair. And I sound like a broken record at this point, but we're once again tied. Moray gets it over. Wilkinson in play. Found the line. And now Wilkinson set to serve. Moray. Reimer, was that a net violation? The main official said it wasn't. The official from across said it was. And it was a net violation. And now set to serve. In play for Vito Forte. Right at the feet of Richard. Forte, Richard more than up to the task there. Forte, free balled over by Tran. Babineau. And Butcherite kind of frustrated at that reception there from Moray. Moray. Reimer out of play. (12-11) now for St. Clair. what a reception there by Sheridan. Babineau. Free balled over by Richard. Oh my! Jason Tran! We're all tied up at 12. Sass. Lofted that one. Babineau hits the net. And unlike the first 3 sets in which it went back and forth for the first 10 points before one team could pull away, no one's pulled away here in this 4th set as St. Clair calls for time.
Yeah, really good, smart decision here. It's a tied-up game once again. Feels like the 50th time we've been saying this in this game, but it is tied yet again. 13-13 in this 4th set.
Like I've said before, Ryan, I think I pretty much sound like a broken record saying we're tied. We're tied. Again, we are tied. And this 4th set has literally been back and forth. Reimer skims the net. Babineau got himself back on track on that one with the kill. Richard. And another point for St. Clair. Now they're up 2. And that hits the basketball net, so 3 straight points coming out of the timeout, and now Liam Bouchard has to call for time. Sheridan needing to respond here. And stop the St. Clair offense. And another ace for Richard. His serve has maybe been the most dangerous on St. Clair's right now. Babineau can't get it over. And now Tran gets it over. Wilkinson almost got blocked. Wilkinson got it through, and it deflected off of Ludwig at the last minute. And in play. An ace for Wilkinson. It was 13-12 for Sheridan. It's now 19-15 for St. Clair.
Yep, yeah. Like I said earlier, I think I might have jinxed them, and they've absolutely just blown this lead.
And now set to serve, Fielding. And maybe that gets them back on track. An ace for Colin Fielding. Still not out of the woods yet. And he follows up an ace with a service error and gets rotated out for Kennedy. Kwiatkowski, Moray. Forte was up to it. Wilkinson got up there. Kwiatkowski. And misplayed there by Sass. And the official said something to Babineau. And Kwiatkowski hits the net. But they've built up a big lead here right now. Comartin in. Babineau out. Uh-oh. And blocked. Mixture of Walls and Comartin. Blocking Reimer. And now Bardwaj to try to finish off this fourth set. St. Clair up 23-17. This was a back and forth set until it wasn't. And in play, Colin Reimer. And now Vito Forte. Now got up there. And out of play for Richard. Again, 2 straight points, but Not much margin for error. Richard off the block and out. They may have found something offensively that Sheridan has not had an answer to. Now Walls to finish off this set. Moray. Oh my! Cohen Reimer again! And now Thompson comes in for Sass. No points left to give for Sheridan. They have to be perfect. And Thompson hits the net. And we're going to a fifth set, folks.
I think this is probably their first fifth set all season. I mean, St.
It is
Clair's
the first fifth set of the season for Sheridan. We'll be back in about two and a half minutes for the final set of 2025 for the Sheridan Bruins before they head to winter break. At the Bear Cave, at the Sheridan Athletic Center, only on OCAA TV.
All right, folks, and welcome back. This is the final set of the Sheridan Bruins taking on the Saints here. It's a very evenly matchup so far. Probably the most even matchup of the year for both teams. With Moras kicking this one off.
Moray gets it over. Wilkinson split the difference between Ludwig and Trent. And now Wiatkowski set to serve. Wiatkowski, Forte up to the task. Reimer! Ow! And Gwiatkowski free balls it over. Tread! Hits the fan from Ow. And now Vito Forte to serve. Hits the top of the net and then falls back on Sheridan's side. And now Wilkinson with a critical serve here. He's been great on the attack. And he's had some timely serves thus far. Tread off the block, off the net and out. And now Sass set to serve. No libero for the home side. Sass just carried out, and he'll rotate out for Kennedy. Critical serve here for Walls. And what a setup by Moray to Fielding. And we're all tied up at 3.
I mean,
now remember, folks, it's first to 8. Whoever gets to 8 first, and then they switch sides for the final time. And Sertosi got enough of it to fool that Sheridan defense. Babineau, Forte up to it. Kennedy, tread. Free balled over. Moray, tread. Into the back corner. We're tied up at 4. Tran. Babineau. Tipped over. Richard out of play. One team is going to be left heartbroken at the end of this.
absolutely. This is one of the most evenly matched I've ever watched.
And
the Sheridan Bruins have played absolutely phenomenal, and the Saints have played just as well and matched their competitiveness in this one. And the net presence has been absolutely phenomenal, just not allowing either team to get easy points in this one. And the servant's been up to par, and overall just a great game.
Richard, Tran more than up to the task. Moray, free balled over by Kennedy. Opportunity now for St. Clair to take the lead. And he missed Richard. Oh my, what a mistake right there. And Sheridan just got gifted a point. Good serve there by Fielding. Wilkinson right at the feet of Fielding, who will rotate out for Kennedy. Sertosi, Trad, Moray, Forte! Through the block and off of Babineau. And now Moray to serve to 8. If Sheridan gets this point, the teams will switch sides, and they will! A mishap between the veteran Wilkinson. Between veterans Richard and Wilkinson. And now no timeout. You just switch sides and then just go and just resume play. So now Murray gets the serve up, but doesn't get it over the net. First set aside, their service game has kind of been hit or miss. Hit and miss. Murray. Forte denied by Wilkinson. Set one, only needed one. And does that turn this game around upside down on its head? And a mishap there forces head coach Liam Butcherite to call for time. Wow, what a turn of events.
Absolutely. This is a very good game so far, and I got to give some credit to Cale Wilkinson. He's been an absolute beast for the St. Clair Saints all night long. His net presence has been phenomenal, to say the least, and his serves have been up to par every time, so player of the game candidate right there.
Back at it here with Wyankowski set to serve. Oh my! Reimer went up, and then Babineau set one, only needed one for the massive block. Wow. Two big blocks as part of this 4-0 run here by St. Clair. And Reimer gets the kill right there. And now Comartin coming on for Babineau. Maybe for height purposes, but if that's the case, I'm not sure why you would take out Babineau given that block he just had. And that serve goes wayward. And now Bardwaj coming in for Wilkinson. And that serve hits the net. 11-10 St. Clair. To serve, Connor Thompson. Wykowski, Babineau off the block. Opportunity now for Sheridan. Off the block and in! 3 big blocks in this set. For St. Clair, and they have struggled with the block all game. But when it has come down to it, it has shown up at the most critical time. And Trent got blocked, but it went out. 12-11, the slimmest of margins here in this 5th set. Reimer, too close to the net! And Trent ties it up. Reimer gets it over. Ow. Wykowski. Richard! Down the line! 13-12. Folks, it's first to 15. If it's tied at 14, we're going to extras until someone wins by 2. What a play there by Wilkinson. And Reimer gets it over. Al couldn't get there in time, and we're all tied up at 13. Tran. Right at Al. Babineau. Through the block and at the feet of Moray. And the ever so dangerous Arthur Richard at the service line. You can hear the pin drop. And it hits the net, and what did he hit in the process too? We're going to extras, folks. It's win by 2. And set to service, Colin Fielding. Right at Al. Wilkinson, and a net violation by Sheridan gives St. Clair the point anyways. No libero on the away side. Certosi. Moray. Forte through the block.
And once again, it is tied up.
And we're still going. Moray. I don't know how Richard got to that. Forte! Off the block and Richard couldn't get there. Timeout, St. Clair. Wow.
What a turn of events, to say the least. This game has been evenly matched all throughout, with both teams trading back and forth with points, and now it's only a 1-point game, win by 2. Sheridan's up 16-15 in this 5th set.
You gotta say a team's gonna be heartbroken by the end of this. Like I said it before, and with the way this fifth set has gone, it's gonna be especially heartbreaking at that.
Absolutely.
And now it's the setter. The guy who has set up this offense. Now granted, St. Clair has had 8 guys that have averaged more than 2 points per set this season. Sheridan has 3. It has not looked like it, and that's an ace! A mishap there by Richard and Wilkinson. And Sheridan to wrap up 2025 in the winter and the first semester. Wins in 5 sets.
What an absolutely spectacular game, to say the least here. Evenly matched, and Sheridan comes out with their second victory of this season. What an incredible thing it is for this team. And now the St. Clair Saints fall to 4-4. Sheridan Bruins now at 2-7. I'm Ryan Keynes on location, and thank you for listening, and have a good rest of your night, folks.
And the Sheridan team gives this crowd a much deserved round of applause after going through so much struggle in the first half of the semester. They finally get that first Don't worry. I'll make sure it isn't. Now, first things first, after a game, I'm here with Jason Trent. Jason, oh, my goodness, after a game like that, like, how does it feel not only be back at home, but to get that first home game of the season to wrap up the first half of the semester?
Of course, it feels amazing, because Thanksgiving is coming up, so end on a good note, and Happy New Year's to everyone, you know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say.
Now, you had your moments up there at the net going up against Cale Wilkinson and Zach Walls. It's no easy task to get past them. What were you kind of seeing offensively that you could kind of find holes in St. Clair's defense?
Just following the game plan that Coach Liam said, block ball, block cross, doing whatever I can, and during practice, like using the block, which you see me doing a lot. Yeah, that's basically it.
I'm glad you mentioned using the block because, guys, it wasn't just you. It was kind of like you guys had success using their block to hit it off them and out. Obviously, in that fifth set, they kind of did get some big blocks there, but you guys did bounce back from that. At what point in that first set, even after those 4 blocks, did that turn around?
During the last set? Yeah. Damn, that was scary, but like everyone just kept in composure, right? Because we live for this, we're an athlete, right? So under pressure, that's how we strive, basically. And yeah, just follow the game plan. That's it.
Now I'm going to leave you off with one last question. With the first half of the season now wrapped up, and after getting this first win of the season at home, what's next for this team? What's the main area of focus as you head into the second half of the season, with more games at home too, to get this crowd hyped up as well?
You're gonna expect more of this. Knock on wood. I don't want to jinx it, but we're working hard together as a team, and yeah, just expect more of this, more wins.
Jason, I will not hold you back for much longer. Go celebrate the win with your team.
Hey.
Of course.